So now I want to talk a little bit about object lifecycle. The idea of the object lifecycle is we define a class and then we start making objects / instances. And we want to, within our class code, jack into or hook into the moments where objects are being created and objects are being destroyed. And we call the moment of object creation, the new operator, constructing the object. And that's because it reads the class and then makes the object and then says, here's your variable. Constructors are used a lot because they nicely preset things, and you want some internal consistency in your object, so you set things up. Destructors are seldom used. They're only used if we have taken some critical resource while the object was alive, and we want to make sure to give that critical resource back before the object variable goes away. So the primary purpose of constructor is to set up instance variables that have all the proper initial values so that the object is created in a coherent way. And so let's take a look at how this works. So we're going to make a class, and this isn't really going to do much of anything useful. We're going to name our class party animal, and we are going to create a special function. I mentioned before that __ construct is our bit of code that jacks in to when the variable is being created. This is just a normal method, function something. The indenting is not so pretty here. And then function destruct is saying, hey, let us know, let us run a bit of code, and we're just going to put an echo statement in so we can take a look at how that works. Okay, so we say echo 1, right, and we do a construction, and so what the construct does, the new operator causes this to run, so out comes the word constructed. Okay, and then we print out 2, and then we construct the second one, which runs this constructed code again. Then we print out 3, and now we call the method, so we've got 2 variables, x and y, running here, and we call something, so it runs this little bit of code in, and $this, in that case, THIS, it points to $x at that point, and it prints that out, and then we're all done. This is the end of the program, and so we print out the end. But then what happens is work happens after the end of this program where $x and $y are being wiped out and thrown away. And because we have registered an interest in the moment of destruction, we are informed of that. And all we do is print, hey, we've been called, but that is when PHP is deallocating our objects and throwing them away. But I mentioned that construction is very commonly used and destruction is rarely used. I just put that in to show how we in the class can ask PHP to do various things on our behalf. So I've already shown you that you can have many objects from one class. Each object has its own distinct variables, and we just make these with the new operator over and over and over again. And so here is another object, and we're going to actually take a parameter. We're going to have one variable called protected, and what protected means is that it can't be accessed outside the class. So the other thing we had was public, which we were able to mess with public. And so this is, the code in here is inside, and this code out here is outside. So what you can't do is you can't say hi $hi lang, because lang is something that is the domain of the class itself. It's an internal variable, and we just don't want anybody messing with it. Now, the outside world will need to set it. So what the outside world can do is on the constructor, it passes in the language that we're interested in, and then we store it in this lang, and so the hi variable is out here. And then we put the language in, ES is in there. We can't touch it, but we have set it. So a lot of the things that constructors do is set up the initial values that the class needs to function. But now it's in there. So we have made a hello gadget that knows Spanish, that knows that we're interested in Spanish. So when we're saying, hey, do this greet code, it doesn't need a parameter, right? We don't have to pass a parameter in because hi already knows that Spanish is its language. And so it just looks in the instance, pulls out the language, and then does the logic the way it wants to do the logic. Okay? And so that's passing in a variable in the constructor that's copied into a protected area inside the class, but then used inside the methods. So protected means it's okay to use it here, but it's not okay to use it there. So again, hitting on all these, class is a template, method is a function that's inside of a class, an object is the actual thing it's a variable, and the constructor is that which you call the moment it's created. So the next thing I want to talk about is how we do inheritance from one object, from one class definition to the next class definition.